So I'm sure we're going to come back to the trauma and the trauma training and what happened in your life. But just for the viewers and for the readers eventually, a little bit more about, you said you were a financial planner. How did that all happen? A planner?
Yeah, I actually did 4 years with a financial institution and did 4 years financial planning for people and with people, and ran in a brokerage. I actually advise people on their financial plans.
Amazing. Well, so that planning part of you, I'm still experiencing. It's coming through. Great. So is it the right place now to talk a little bit about what traumatized you in your youth? Or shall we first go to how you discovered the beginning of the family constellation journey? All up to you where you want to start.
Okay, so one of the first concepts when we look at family constellations is honor your father and your mother. And a lot of my clients have, how can I make peace with my father when he has done X, Y, Z to me? My mother, and we have all these discussions on what the mother did wrong. And then the question is, how can I honor my father and my mother? And so this is a concept that is foreign to a lot of people, as it is foreign to me, in terms of you honor your father and your mother. I did it because it was from a religious perspective. It is something I understood. But how do you come to terms with certain facts of what happens to you really early in life? So my very first life experience with my parents basically happened in the womb. Being conceived as an illegitimate child, my parents had problems. What are they going to do with it? I read a comment the other day that said, just because I have intimacy with somebody doesn't mean that they have a baby. And I think that is often not an expectant outcome when you are intimate with another person. However, in this case, that intimacy resulted in a pregnancy, of which I am sitting here now. But I nearly wouldn't be sitting here now. If my father had his way, I would have been aborted. So if we just look at it from the trauma that happens in the womb, I don't believe people are aware of the consciousness that a child already has in the womb. But just imagine the mother that now carries the child is also conflicted because it wasn't part of her planning either. And so she has the conflict of, where do I go with it? Do I follow through on an abortion? Or what is my way forward? So that emotional turmoil of the mother, as we now know through research, automatically is part of the child's basic structure coming into life. It's the child's first traumatic experience, as it is.
So although the child is not conscious about what people are saying and doing, there is a certain, shall we call it, the resonance or disturbance in its field of awareness in the womb. Is that more or less what you're referring to?
That is what I'm referring to. And in fact, I do quite a lot of different constellations. And I set up constellations in one of my training groups where we looked at what happens before conception. Where are the parents emotionally before conception? And how does the child react to the emotional disturbance or agreement before conception. So even at conception, the child consciousness is completely aware of both parents' emotional well-being. And it's a concept that not many of us actually take into account.
Because maybe the child is very sensitized to vibrational sequencing, or so vibrational language, call it that way. He doesn't hear any other language, but vibrationally, the sensing of vibrations is very attuned to what's happening in the mother.
Number one, that, and then we've also learned that for the first 9 months, the child is completely dependent on the mother. So all the mother's emotions are part of the child's emotions. The child does not have its own ego. So the child is whatever the mother experiences, the child experiences. And so whatever disturbance there is between the parents becomes the child's disturbance as well. But in the constellations that we did, we actually saw that the child, even though it is linked to all the mother's emotional well-being, the child also has its own consciousness in terms of now the child is not just of the mother's family system, the child also already from conception carries everything from the father's family system. It's quite mind-boggling to actually just conceptualize that.